Hi, my name is Dr. Randall Tonks, and I teach cultural psychology. Cultural psychology is the investigation in terms of how culture provides meaning in our lives and how it comes to affect us in all kinds of different ways. It's got a close relative, reasonably close, called cultural psychology, but the methodologies and general perspectives are really quite different. Cross-cultural psychology is really sort of based upon the more mainstream methodologies that we see within psychology, using statistics and looking for comparisons of people across different cultures. Whereas cultural psychology, on the other hand, tries to delve deeper into cultures to find the meaning systems embedded within and how culture provides a meaningful framework for living our lives. Well, in many ways, the course is designed for university transfer students going on to liberal arts or something along those lines. But what I have found in the past, a large number of students coming from either an Indigenous background or from those that are going into social work show up in the class and really get a lot out of it because there's a lot of applied material in terms of understanding culture and everyday experiences and circumstances that they can bring forward to their life as they become social workers. We started off looking at knowledge systems, in particular Indigenous knowledge systems from around the world, and comparing those with European knowledge systems, and then delving most particularly into the notion of self and how culture gives a construction of self in different ways in different times and places. That's arguably the most important or the largest topic within the course, but we also look at acculturation, or what happens when people from different cultures come together, and the changes to the individuals and the communities that arises through cultural contact, as well as health, wellness, mental illness, and therapies and cures that come along with those as well. Well, yeah, this idea of knowledge systems is really quite central to the course, and in many ways it takes an Indigenous approach, and that's not just a North American Indigenous approach, but an internationally Indigenous approach. And so we look at the way in which health, for example, is conceptualized and dealt with across different cultures, how mythology comes to play meaningful roles in terms of giving us stories by which to live our lives, as well as, of course, mental illness and how it's conceptualized within different cultures, and the different kinds of treatments that will come through. Yeah, a typical class in my cultural psychology course is a mix of me giving lectures in the more traditional sense, students giving short presentations on topics that they find of interest to share with others within the class, as well as small group discussion on study questions that help to summarize and really bring together the course material in a meaningful way for the students. Culture has really been a big part of my life for a very long time. Over 35 years I've been doing research into what culture is and how it affects us in different kinds of ways. I've traveled internationally, Latin America, Europe, Asia, and have drawn from those experiences in terms of my own understanding. And so I also, beyond that, have taken, sort of a significant role in the Canadian Psychological Association, as I currently am chair of international and cross-cultural psychology. And so it's just a really big part of my life in terms of my own interest. But beyond that, I really, really enjoy exposing students to the idea of the impact of culture on their lives, something that a lot of us just don't even think about. And one of the activities that we do within the course is to have them to do a culture journal, where they have to reflect on issues of culture that emerge in daily life that they might not otherwise have thought of. So for example, getting on a bus and riding a bus and the kinds of procedures and rituals that are part of doing that. I think first and foremost, there's a great deal of self-reflection in terms of the impact of culture on their own personal lives. And we do this in a number of expressive activities where they're having to reflect on themselves, either through art or through written words, in terms of using some different cultural models to think about who they are. So a lot of self-understanding, but also, perhaps even more importantly, understanding of others, people coming from other cultures, and how people come to develop into the people people that they are. And I think it really helps to understand people who may have differences in society, but we may not always understand why those differences are coming about. Use a number of different methodologies, if you will. One of the primary ones is short essay forms. Some of that is based upon the essay style questions that we have them examine in class and have short group discussions or small group discussions around those. Other essays, for example, around mythology and looking at stories or mythological figures in their own personal lives and how that's made a difference in their lives. We have some expressive activities where they do some artwork or other kinds of things like a mandala, for example, to express who they are, as well as mini presentations that they do to get a bit of experience speaking in front of others, which I think is a really important skill for students to learn. Hopefully we'll get a really good bunch of students from all kinds of different backgrounds, and we'll all feel a lot better about ourselves and each other by the end of the course.